Tell us about the day you left. Where did you go? So let me tell you all about the last day of my Amish life, where I went and how that day went. So that morning I got up at 5:30 in the morning and I went out to do the chores, knowing that this would be my last time that I would actually have to do the chores. So I went out, did the chores, came back in, sat down for breakfast, and then it kind of like set in. I knew this was going to possibly be my last ever breakfast with my parents, because I knew that they were going to be very upset that I left the Amish and they might never ever let me come home and eat a meal with them ever again. Now, I was very excited. I was very numb. I didn't know really what to do or how to act. Maybe I was acting very weird. Maybe they had some kind of suspicion that something was going on, but they didn't say anything to me. So that day I was assigned to go mow some hay. So I went out, got the horses all harnessed up, hooked them up, took the mower out, and mowed some hay that day, came in for lunch. Now, knowingly that my mother, this is the last time that she was possibly ever going to cook lunch for me ever again, and that I would ever eat my mom's cooking. So I was sad at the same time. I was very happy knowing that I wouldn't be Amish the next day. So we ate lunch, and that afternoon I was assigned some more chores, went out and did those, and then it came to chore time that night. Now, let me just say, if you see this video on Facebook and the username is xamishmilo1, that is not my account. And the profile picture is me in a black shirt that says, "Loving my English life." That guy is impersonating me. He's stealing my videos here on TikTok and taking them and putting them on Facebook. But moving on, so it was chore time. Went out, did the chores, and that was the last night that I actually had to milk cows by hand. And I was very excited because I did not enjoy milking cows by hand. Now, we ate dinner, and then we got to do some free time, just trying to wait it out, knowing that I would be leaving that night. And where did I go, and who came to pick me up? Well, I was trying to get a hold of my cousin here in Florida to come to Ohio to pick me up, but I couldn't reach him. I didn't know his phone number. I would go to the local payphone, and I would call the directory, because I talked to one of my English friends and I said, "Hey, how do I find his number?" And they said, "Oh, you called the directory," and he gave me the number. So I would go down there and I would call, but I could never find my cousin's phone number to come pick me up. So I had to go to plan B, and so I lived in the same community as Eli Yoder does. My sister was actually dating his brother. Now she's married to his brother. And I knew where he worked. So I went to his work and I said, "Hey, I just need a getaway driver. I need someone to come pick me up. And if I could stay at your house like one night or 2 nights, and then I would get a hold of somebody and I would actually find a new place to go to." Now, I wasn't quite 18 yet, so he was very leery about picking me up, knowing that he could possibly get in trouble. But I assured him that he would not get in any trouble, that my parents wouldn't come after him or anything like that. So he agreed to do it, and he was supposed to come like at 9:30 or around 10 o'clock to pick me up at the corner. Now, my dad happened not to be home that night, and normally we would all kneel down and pray. My dad would read out of a prayer book, and we would all kneel down and pray, and then we would all go to bed. Well, it was around 9:30. My dad was up at the neighbors, so I talked my mom into sending us all to bed before my dad came home, because I knew that I had to get ready. I had to get my stuff, had to get up there to the corner. If my ride shows up and I'm not there, it's all over, game over. I won't be leaving the Amish that night. So I had to make sure I got there. So I went up and kind of let everything calm down. My brothers and sisters seemed to be going to sleep. Everything was very quiet. And I had everything I wanted to take in a drawer in my dresser. And I had a suitcase hidden in another room with a rope attached to it. Came on, put everything in that suitcase. I didn't take any clothes with me but the clothes I was wearing on my back. And I had to exit through my brother's bedroom. And I walked in there, and he's in bed, and I'm like, "Hey," I said, "is there any way you could help me lower my suitcase down to the second, we were at the second floor, down to the first floor. I would crawl out on the roof, I would jump off, and I would come around and make sure my dad wasn't there. You quickly drop it down, and then I would take off." So he did. He dropped it down, and then I looked up at him. My last words were, I said, "Hey, when you turn 18, I said, please, get a hold of me. I will come and pick you up, and you can leave the Amish too," because my brother and I were very close to each other at that time. And so he did. He lowered it, and I went out to the shop. I had to get something in the shop that I had left out there. My dad actually came home while I was in the shop, but he didn't know, and he went in the house. So I waited about 15 minutes until I thought everything calmed down, and then I ran up to the road to the corner, and I waited there, and I waited. There was a couple cars came. They passed. I was hiding in the ditch. And I was so close to giving up. And there was one car. Here comes a car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if this isn't the car, then I'm actually going to have to climb back into the house, up that window, and go back into my bedroom and remain Amish. And I remember I was just praying, God, please let this be Eli Yoder to come pick me up. And sure enough, here he was. And it was him and his cousin. They were both halfway drunk. They both had beer. They were drinking beer. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you guys supposed to be drinking? Is this against the law to drink and drive? But they're like, nah, it's fine. And so that was my last day of my Amish life.